You're a good person. It's important that I tell you that. This entire podcast is built around an acronym that I made for the word yield. It stands for Yes, I Envision Love Demonstrated. This acronym has helped me a ton in my work, school life, and in pursuing my passions and being able to help other people, as well as growing my habits and becoming a better person. My biggest hope is that this podcast will help you to treat the opportunities and the people in your life differently. Learn to yield today, and it'll be a better tomorrow. What's up, everybody? This is Dallin, Candland. We are back with Yield Today, episode number 27. Thank you so much for listening. I really do appreciate it and hope you can gather something to really help you in your life in this episode. Like, that's such a cool idea that something I share here can help you, but that is fully the intention. And this episode in particular is about silence, not being silent on your dreams and not letting your actions, just kind of being a little bit more aware of how precious your life is and how important it is that you're not silent, So that's basically what we're going to talk about, because I've learned a lot about that in my life. And this episode is coming to you from my garage. So let's just hop right into it. A lot of times lately, especially like in class, because I recently started college via Zoom, which is definitely pretty interesting. And just with my creative endeavors and other stuff, there's always the choice to open my mouth, so to speak, to hit record, to make the post, to whatever, there's that choice. There's also a choice to be silent, to say absolutely nothing, to let somebody continue to suffer as they've been suffering, to be as misinformed as they've always been, et cetera, et cetera. And I just think this is such an important thing. And lately in my life and in my general endeavors, I've been talking about finding your voice. And for me, that's come from Christ, because he is the most resolute, perfect, on point voice that you can think of. Everything that he said completely helped people and served people. And, he didn't mince his words at all. But I think it's really important that I say that whoever is listening to this episode right now, I value you a lot. And you're in a very special group of people. The people that are listening to this podcast are probably people that are not struggling and are doing pretty well in their lives and are just trying to figure out some things. If you are really struggling right now, and honestly, we're all struggling to some degree, that's okay. I really hope my words and hopefully also the spirit that this episode kind of, invites for you is good and just kind of uplifts you a little bit. But I like to think about this episode as me giving some counsel or some advice, and there's all these people that are listening to it in their ears, and it gives them ideas, and it brings ideas to mind, and it brings perspective, and they're like, yo, I should do this, or I should do that, and I should do this right now. I should do this today, yield today, obviously. So you should do that right now, that sort of mentality and idea. I don't know. So I really want you to think about this in that way, like how you can get answers and help. The idea that somebody in Jamaica who will never meet me in this life could be listening to this right now thrills me so much. But the fact that this could help them, it pushes me and really, really gets me to not want to miss a week, at all, and just go for it. All right, let's hop into my little tips and different thoughts on this subject. Number one is you're the only person that there will ever be that is exactly like you. So there's a quote from President James E. Faust. He was a member of the First Presidency in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and he said, "You can do something for someone else that no one else ever born can do." I'm in a garage. There might be a little bit of an echo. I apologize. My family is sleeping. I woke up, I had this weirdo nap when we were having our family home evening thing as a family. And yeah, so that's why this is coming to you a little late, and I apologize for that. But this is something to keep in mind, is your ideas that you're having right now, the words you have in your thought process and stuff right now. God created you. He created you, and you're completely unique and completely, infinitely valuable compared to anyone else. And that doesn't make you better than anyone else, of course, but it makes you unique. Like, obviously, you're the only one. Like, there's this really silly song from Winnie the Pooh that comes to mind. It's like, you're a genuine original. You are the one and only one. If everyone were like everyone else, how boring it would be. It is the things that make me different that are the things that make me me. Stand tall, you're in a class by yourself. Be proud, you're not like anyone else. No doubt about it, you're second to none because you're the one and only one. So that's truth, man. This is some legit truth we're dropping right now. Just poof, we're dropping it. Anyway, something I learned when I was working at Alder, I think is pretty important here. So I did some door-to-door sales for Alder for a little bit. It was kind of crazy. God was teaching me a ton of different stuff during that time, and that could be a whole other episode. One of the things that I did take away from that experience is that actions exude emotion. So I went through this time in my life, my teenage years, when I was a little bit complacent. I was just kind of in this, hamster wheel mindset, so to speak. There really wasn't much I was working towards a lot. And so I didn't feel a great zest for life, so to speak. I wasn't taking as much advantage of my life as I was, or I wanted to. I didn't know how wonderful life could be. And I guess something that changed all of this was when I started doing track and when I didn't make the basketball team. Something just kind of, I had something to pray for, and I just wanted to help people. And I prayed about that, and I didn't make the basketball team. So how can I help people? And my mom was like, well, you could be the manager. And I prayed so much for help to become the best manager I could be. And I still believe that, I was the best manager I could have possibly been at that time. I got better and better each year, and I learned different things and got a lot of powerful perspective, and I guess with the idea of how you're the one and only one, like nobody else could have filled my spot, because when I remember like the second or third year of me being the manager, second or third, season, there's a couple people who showed up and were like, hey, we're going to take Dallin's spot. And I'm like feeling a little threatened, and I'm like, all right. And part of me was just kind of like, all right, let's see if you can make it to all these practices and all these games and stuff. They ended up dropping in a couple weeks, but I hung on, and that just shows individually I had grown to love this a little bit more, or I was getting more out of it. And so our perspectives were different. I had suffered more for this, and I wanted the benefit of being able to help people and just not quitting. I didn't want to quit, and so I didn't. So that's kind of the first thought. And I don't know, like if you're going through a really rough time right now, I really hope this podcast helps you in some way. There is somebody that can help you no matter where you are at in your life, and that is, of course, Jesus Christ. He has suffered everything you'll ever go through. He is the light, the life, and the hope of the entire world. And even beyond that, obviously, he gives light to everything, and he loves you, and he suffered for you. And he sees your current situation with infinite compassion. And I personally believe that he sees you overcoming whatever you're personally going through. Now, you might learn a skill, or somebody will get involved in your life to help you get through that. Maybe this podcast will push you through that. I don't really know. I really like the quote that somebody said. I can't remember who said it, but it's like, if you're going through hell, keep going. And that's so true. You'll go through these hard, difficult times, but it doesn't define you. Just because you're going through a difficult time, it doesn't mean you're a difficult person. Doesn't mean you're a person not worth knowing. These are things that I wish somebody could have told me when I was a teenager. I was so confused and so I'd read my scriptures and I'm like, this is great and all, but I don't know, how does this apply? Or I try to do this, but I don't know, things aren't falling into place, but you hang on. I hung on to my faith, and look at me now. Like I didn't think I'd be doing this. I've been continuing to surprise myself every single year I've been alive since the day I became a basketball manager. I started a YouTube channel. Now I'm doing a podcast. I'm trying to launch all these different things to leverage my voice and leverage myself and leverage everything that I want to do in my life. It all comes back to that. And it's my voice, Obviously it's being leveraged right now. And your voice is worth being leveraged too. And for me, again, Jesus is the way to figure that out. And yeah, I'm really thankful to be a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, because I really believe that it's Christ's church on the earth. And anybody who wants to learn about that, you can hit up your local missionaries. A lot of them they're all quarantined right now. Or you can always hit me up on the DMs on Instagram or anything else. I'm happy to talk about my faith with anyone. And it's definitely made all the difference in my life, is knowing that, of course, God still speaks to man. He loves us all so much. We're his children, and he's provided the Book of Mormon and so many other different things to help us come to know him better in our time, at this specific time when things are kind of crazy, but the potential is so there. And we're all here for such a glorious purpose. Number 2, the circumstances are all perfect. They're lined up. This is your time. This is kind of what I've been thinking about lately, and kind of what I was trying to think of what I could do for this episode. And I watched some YouTube videos about these basketball high school players that I admired. And there's this one, Chase Adams, and I recently followed him on Instagram. In 7th grade, he was only 4'11". At 9th grade, he was 5'3", but he kept playing, he kept trying, and he put his life in God's hands. And I'd love to have him on the podcast sometime. He just, his circumstances weren't the best as far as making the NBA is concerned, and he's only 5'8" now, but I'm certain that he's probably going to make it. He's so diligent and so focused, and he has God as his focus. God in basketball is what he said. I really believe he's going to make it there. And the circumstances were not picture perfect, so to speak, for him going into high school. He wasn't 6'5", 250 pounds, run a 3-second 40-yard dash, but that didn't matter. He had his faith in God, and he had himself, and he had his talents. And I watched this video recently, and it just really humbled me. He's like, I just do not complain. God gave me height, and he also gave me speed. I use what I have to my advantage. And it's just super amazing to me how Chase has been able to do this. So Chase, if you ever listen to this episode, I admire you, brother. I really do. So keep up the great work, dude. I remember when I watched your video back in October 2013. Well, I don't know if I watched it right after it released, but the one in 2013 is the one that blew up. I saw that one, and just keep up the good work. It's definitely inspiring stuff. This is something I keep in mind every single day of my life. When I run into people, I don't run into people much anymore because I'm in quarantine. But when I did run into people and I'd see people at McDonald's or I'd see other people, I would just try to talk to them and say hello, and at least just get the word out there, I guess. Just say hello and just help them feel a little value. I don't know, because we all deserve to be talked to. And I've had people do that for me, and it's definitely changed my perspective. Even now, it's like, wow, you want to talk to me even though you don't know me. It's pretty cool. And those circumstances are perfect. I don't know, like you can say like the circumstances are never perfect, but from this perspective, I'm just looking through the kind of the idea of Albert Einstein. He said that either everything is a miracle or nothing is a miracle. You can live either way. And I guess lately I've been trying to think that the circumstances are always good to get something done. Now, when you try to do something, it doesn't always mean you're going to get the best flow, so to speak. I had a different episode to record, and I don't feel like I should record that one today. And so we're doing this one. We're going to the river that is more flowing in my soul right now, which is helping you find your voice. And oh my goodness, I just love you all so much. And I wish that this would help you to not be speechless, not be silent. There's that amazing song from Aladdin. I know it by heart. I already sang it on another podcast for an interview. I won't be silent. You can't keep me quiet. Won't tremble when you try it. I won't be speechless. even if you're in a difficult time right now, you can still express your voice through habits and getting to know other people, etc. Even though I'm not in a big professional job or something right now, there's still so much I'm learning to help me prepare for everything that I'll be doing for the rest of my life. I've been doing a lot of LinkedIn coaching calls lately. I'm doing one this Friday with a guy about SEO and some other stuff, building brands and whatnot. And it'll be super cool. And maybe, who knows what doors that will open. Opening that one door, who knows what that will lead to. How about this? So the circumstances are perfect for you being here. You are not here by accident, and you are here to help a lot of different people, obviously. And, so like, I don't know, it's such a interesting topic. You're here, God's going to help you out. End of story. I don't know, but that's not the end of the story, obviously. We could talk forever about this. We really could, but anyway, let's move on. Number 3, you need to figure out who you are, man. Like, who are you? That is so important that you know. In high school, I was told I was a child of God, and of course I believe that, but I wanted to know more. Who is Dallin Candland? Who is he going to grow up to be? What are his talents? What are his attributes, etc.? Like, when I went through a period of my life where I didn't really think I had any talents. I was measuring like results and worldly appeal as my worth. Like if I didn't make the basketball team, oh, wow, I guess I'm not that great at basketball. But then I'd have these church ball games or other things and I'd score a lot of points. It's like, no, I mean, obviously there's skills there. It's just not there. It didn't happen, and that's okay. I tried a lot of different things, and there's so many other things that I've been able to work on, from taking my focus off of basketball and working on other things. I still love basketball. I'm sure I'll keep playing basketball, just not right now, really. I'm stuck in quarantine. We keep bringing that up. But what else? I wrote some good stuff down. There'll be more stuff in the show notes below. Yeah, like let's just think about this as being stuck in a box or being stuck behind a wall. Right now, you are going through an interesting time, and you're taking out little pieces of this wall, or slowly breaking it down one piece at a time. I would definitely recommend you include God in that process and pray and get help from him. But anyway, you're breaking this down a little bit at a time. And for me, once I finally kind of broke free of my old mindsets and my ideas, every single year since then has just had so much meaning, because I have a different way that I look at life, from these different experiences, and they all just kind of add up. So while before I was kind of building this dismantled, I guess we could call it a popsicle stick mess of stuff, now I have this like legitimate house of mindsets and ideas that I've been working on for years and years now. It's continuously developing. Honestly, everything that I study, everything that I watch, it's helping me to get a better idea of who I am and what I can accomplish. And I really hope that this podcast has helped you to think about life differently and helped you to help other people, of course, because when serving others, you're serving God. You're also getting to know other people. One of the best quotes for me about this is to esteem someone else is esteem. If you are helping somebody else, if you're caring about somebody else, that helps you care about yourself more, and doing these things that open up yourself, make you a little vulnerable, they add so much joy into your life. They can also add sorrow, but they can also add so much joy. Recording this episode has been a thrill for me today. It really has been. And yeah, somebody wants you to step up. Somebody wants you to take that first step. You can rally people. You can help people. You have a different voice than anybody else, whether that's the physical voice or the actually what you're saying, and you can help people using your voice. My mom has taught me that if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. And the Magic of Thinking Big book talks about thinking only progress, thinking only this, thinking only that. And it works. It really helps you keep a lot of stuff in mind. And another quick thought from the Magic of Thinking Big is to think confidently, act confidently. And that's such a good, amazing thought that has honestly changed my life. And it goes back to what I talked about with Alder, that actions exude emotion. When I was doing the door-to-door sales thing, and my boss, I love him, he's a great guy. He's still a great guy, I'm sure. Was like, Dallin, I want you to work on your door approaches or this or that. And something he told me was, I want you to run between each door because A, you're on a time limit, and you also want to express a sense of urgency. So when people see you, they'll wonder, why are you running? And I don't remember if anybody asked me why I was running, but it was fun. And for me, it was a great opportunity to meet people and help them find their voice in a way. Even though I didn't sell a ton of security systems, I do remember being able to help out a couple people in other ways that were also meaningful. I remember this one lady, her husband had died, and I just talked with her a little bit. And after she said that, it just kind of changed the conversation a little bit. And the Dallin Candland I've met and I've talked to personally, obviously, since I'm him, that Dallin Candland listens and really wants to help people and kind of see their life a little bit better and just get to know Christ better, because he knows our lives better than anybody else and has information about our lives that we could only dream about knowing. And so I just remember talking to this lady. I might even share a scripture with her. I do remember that I gave her a pass-along card that had a picture of Christ on it that I had gotten from the church a week or so before this happened. And I just was, really open and frank with her. And she said, thank you for what you shared. And that's it. I cannot go back to that moment ever again, ever. I worked there at Alder. I had a good time. And I can't go back. We're in quarantine right now. The circumstances are completely different. I can look back on that experience and have joy because I opened my mouth. I yielded to the Spirit that was trying to speak in my soul. And it came out as this nice little moment between me and this older lady. Even though I was just a guy on her doorstep that maybe she'll only get to talk to once in this life, I got to be a little bit of a voice for truth, a voice of courage, a voice of hope, and pointing her again to Christ, who is the ultimate source of hope, etc. We could go on. So that's my main 3 tips. Why you cannot afford to remain silent. You're the only one who there will ever be. That's number 1. 2, the circumstances are perfect for you to start talking and sharing your voice with other people. And I would say perfect again to start doing something. Write down what you want to accomplish in your life. I remember one day I wrote down, I don't know, we could go on and on, but that's just so important. And if you want to talk to me about any of these things, different strategies I've used to make these things more crystal and concrete and just powerful in my life, feel free to ask. I'm more than willing to answer. A lot of them are answers to prayers, so keep that in mind. God can give you answers in your own life to help you out. And I'm a witness of that, and I'll always be a witness of that. Number 3, you need to figure out who you are. I would encourage you to pray about your life, pray to God and ask for help. Create different things to help you get a better idea of who you are and live the life you want to live today so you can have those benefits. Yield today and it'll be a better tomorrow, right? Lately, I've been really trying to live a similar life that hopefully the 10 years away from me version would live. And it's changed some decisions. It's helped me read my scriptures a little bit more, share more words of faith, etc. And I wanted to end this delightful episode with a scripture for you all. It's from Acts chapter 17 in the New Testament. This is Paul and Silas talking to the people in Thessalonica. These people, they really didn't see that they were praying to different gods and they had made this interesting idol thing. And basically Paul's like, hey, you guys are way too superstitious and let me just declare the one true God to you. So this is I'm just going to read verse 23 to 29. And hopefully this gives you some extra perspective and hopefully some validity to some of the things that I've said as well. For as I passed by and beheld your devotions, I found an altar with this inscription, to the unknown God, whom therefore ye ignorantly worship, him declare I unto you. God that made the world and all things therein, seeing that he is Lord of heaven and earth, dwelleth not in temples made with hands, neither is worship of men's hands as though he needed anything, seeing he giveth to all life and breath and all things, and hath made of one blood all nations of men for to dwell on all the face of the earth, and hath determined the times before appointed in the bounds of their habitation, that they should seek the Lord, if haply they might feel after him and find him, though he be not far from every one of us. For in him we move, for in him we live and move and have our being, as certain also of your own poets have said, for ye are also his offspring. Forasmuch then as ye are the offspring of God, we ought not to think that the Godhead is like unto gold or silver or stone, graven by art or man's device. That's just kind of the thoughts. And just in case anybody was wondering, I believe that the Godhead is three distinct persons with the same purpose: Heavenly Father, Jesus Christ, and the Holy Ghost. Just in case you're wondering, that's what members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints believe. They're all focused on helping us grow, but they have different things that they do, and they're separate, distinct beings. If you choose to believe differently than me, that's quite all right. We're all God's children. And yeah, I reserve a right to share my beliefs as well as you with yours. Well, that's about it for this episode. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Yield Today. Don't forget to check out the Yield Today of Dallin podcast Instagram, where I share little bits from each episode just to kind of keep the conversation going over there. Lately, I've been doing more stuff on Instagram, and I'm excited to continue to keep up with you guys on there. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, all those different things. They've really helped the podcast get out to more people and help more people. If this episode is meaningful or special to you, please bookmark it, share it, save it so you do not lose it. That's one of the best tips I can give for somebody. If something has helped you or guided you in your life before, you should bookmark it. You should save it so it's easy to come back to. I would attribute a lot of my life success in the last couple years to documenting these different things and having them on hand and saving them. Lately, I've been saving little talks and different things and downloading the YouTube videos so I can listen to the audio of them whenever I need a little pick-me-up. So that's what I do. I'm always trying to figure out better ways, though. In any case, thank you so much for listening. I really do appreciate it, and I will see you next week. Thank you so much again. Remember to yield today, and it will be a better tomorrow.